Steve and Jill here.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Steve and Jack Butella.
And I'm Jill Buwit, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about replacing yourself with a land company virtual assistant, or replacing yourself, let's say.
I just say replacing yourself in general. What if it's not a VA? Seriously, what if you bring in a partner?
Well, I read the title wrong.
Oh.
Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community.
Okay.
It's free.
We'll cover the title. We'll fix it here in just a few minutes. Hang in there.
Well, no, the title is...
replacing yourself in your land company.
Yes.
Thank you.
The VA comes a few shows from now.
Right. If you even use one. There's
Yeah.
a lot of people, and I was one of them, that didn't see the value. I was afraid of it, but I got over it. And I do see the value, however, there's stuff I just can't do.
You know what? That would be a good show,
Mm-hmm.
a good episode. Because there's some stuff that I fought you on in the beginning, and there was some stuff that you
There's
fought
stuff
me
you're
on.
still fighting me on.
Yeah, well, that's
Like
that's a
today.
different show too. But there's some stuff that we ended up using that I said, no, this is a terrible idea. And then like a year later, it turns out we're full-blown using it.
Right.
And then vice versa. It's always like that. I mean,
Exactly.
that's why you have partners. It's free.
So the question Sandy asked, if Redfin data, everybody knows redfin.com, it's a great source for a lot of information. If Redfin data doesn't have information on a county or zip code, is there an alternative source that might have the data? Now, this is something that we use in our equity planner, in our program. We have a red, yellow, green chart, which is helping you pick a city or a zip code, a county where to send mail to. And one of the things that we look at that we now, because we have it now, is some of the data that's out there from comps. And so we'll pull that in, and that's kind of what she's referring to. So what's great is a couple of our members have already responded here. One of them is Kevin. Kevin Farrell said, Sandy, I use Realtor.com for the similar map function. I also use LandWatch and Zillow. Redfin is great, but it only covers certain markets. My comment here is to apply to vacant land searches.
Kevin's a moderator on landinvestors.com, and he's also a very successful member.
Exactly.
And he's absolutely right. But data sources always change, always. And one of our jobs, one of the huge undiscussed values, I think that we at Land Academy, specifically Jill and I, and the group as a whole provides is, insight onto these things that change, these tools that change. So there's Realtor.com. If you're a note taker, this is a time to take notes. Right now, the two great sources of data are Realtor.com and Redfin.com. Do they cover 100% of the country? Nope. You can also, as a member, have access to RealQuest Pro, which is I haven't tapped into all the data there. It's endless. And Title Pro 24/7. And here it's soon to be with House Academy Data Tree, which is just an amazing data source. So it's important to take a look at what we teach and the tools that we use, and then also go out and do your own stuff and figure out your own data sources.
That's part of, I think, what makes us unique and special. And what we're doing is we're not just teaching you, here are the steps, follow them, don't ever change them. Here's 1 through 10. No, we're teaching the mindset and getting you ready and helping you learn.
Well said.
And that's why a lot of our members do so well in counties that we've never even, really bothered with. Not bothered with. We didn't get to them yet. That's really what's the truth is. It's not like I wouldn't do it. It's just like I'm busy over here. And because we've taught the concepts and so got you thinking. So, and I think that's what she's doing, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Today's topic, replacing yourself in your own land company. This is the meat of the show.
You just can't get the title today, can you?
No. Can you read it?
Replacing yourself in your land company, which is what every one of us should be doing, which is what you want to do, except for there's a few things you can't replace. You want to start?
No, you can.
Oh, okay. All right. So here's what I thought. You know what you like to do, and you know what you don't like to do. So right away, when you start doing this, and you're starting your own investment company, you're You know right away whether you like deeds or you don't like deeds. You know right away if you like talking on the phone, you don't like talking on the phone. You know right away if you like scrubbing data or it hurt, makes your head hurt, kind of thing. You know. So what should you be doing? So right when you are starting yourself, you want to be kind of thinking about this. I don't think any one of us wants to go into this thinking I have to do all the jobs myself and be a one-man show for the rest of my life, because that's no fun. I don't think.
I think some people do.
Oh.
And I'm not here to contest what you're saying. But
Okay, maybe they do. You're right. I think you're right. Some people do. But
not a lot.
I'd like, well, even if you do want to be your one-man show, there's still going to be things that you don't like to do. That's pretty much universal. There's some things that you like better than others. Maybe you don't hate them, but there's things that you like to do better than others. So what should you be doing? Well, number one, start creating systems. Start making your own checklist, your own. Think about, if I had to train someone to do this tomorrow, what would be the steps that they would have to do? And write them down, or make a video, or do both. Start thinking about that as you start getting more transactions, because what's going to happen is you're going to start getting bigger and too busy, and gosh, you're going to need to bring in some help if you're doing it right. You're going to, because you know why? Because that way you're going to be able to be freed up and do more deals or bigger deals and be thinking about some other stuff. So that's
well said. Here's the
Thank you.
thing. You want to be proactive on this, not reactive.
Right.
And so in the back of every new land investor's person, in the back of their mind, they ask this question: wow, this mailer, I bought 3 properties off this mailer. I wonder if that's it. I wonder if this is going to happen on the next mailer, or I'm not going to do it. This happens in my mind.
That's funny.
So, so what you end up doing is, if you're like me, you end up saying, you know what, I'm going to wait. I'm going to hold off. I'm not going to replace myself in my own company. I'm not going to spend the, $1,000, $1,500 that it costs for an employee to start down the path of teaching them. And then you send out another mailer, and sure enough, you buy 3 to 5 properties again. And you say, you know what, man, I must have gotten lucky again. And on and on and on. And so that I see, it's kind of like spinning your wheels in the snow. So I really think that it takes a lot of discipline, which begs a bigger question, Jill. Here's my big philosophical question for today.
Okay.
At what point do you sit down with yourself and have a meeting, or look in the mirror and say, there's stuff I like to do, like you said in the beginning. There's stuff I don't like to do. How much do I just suck it up and do all of it right from the beginning, and just really bite the inside of my lip, do a bunch of stuff I don't want to do until I can hire it out? That's the magic question here.
I think it's the same thing about quitting. It's the same thing, the same conversation and the same process as you did when you quit your day job. So I'm assuming that for me, that's who I'm talking to. I'm talking to someone that's already quit their day job, and they are now running their own land company all by themselves. And now they're having that conversation of, all right, because that was probably scary. And guess what? You got through it. Here you are. You are doing your own business. You're paying your own bills. Everybody's happy. You can take a nice vacation. Trust me, I see you on Facebook. It's awesome. You're fishing. You're traveling around.
Yeah.
You're on the ski slopes. There's 2 of you I'm referring to right there. You guys are now living this life. It's great. Now and it was, I'm sure, scary taking that step, right? Now you're going, all right, now I want to take this to the next level. And for me, that's the next level. Starting to maybe not necessarily replace yourself yet, but replace a lot of the things that you do that you didn't like. And to answer your question, Stephen, I think you should do it when it's almost a little bit too late. Almost when you're like, doggone it, I could have really hit that county harder. Gosh, I could have actually pulled the trigger on all these properties if I had enough time. Wow, what a great mailer that was. I only had time to buy 5. I could have done this, and this. I'm so darn busy. Then you sit down, have a chat with yourself, look at your finances, and then you can start to do that.
So how about you personally? Like, what are as a percentage of all the stuff that you do between Land Academy and deal funding, and then the regular house and land deals that we do,
And then upcoming House Academy.
Yeah, I mean, as a percentage, how
Right.
much do you like, do you just swallow it or do you just love it?
Oh, now I love it. A few years ago, I swallowed it.
It has to be that way.
Yeah.
I mean, you answered the question exactly that's my answer too.
Yeah.
You have to, there's some stuff
Yeah.
you just have to do yourself.
It took some time.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'll tell you, if you really want to replace yourself, for me, this is my last point. If you really want to, quote unquote, try to go out and replace yourself, there's a few things you're going to hold back because only you do them well. You want to be in charge of payroll and some of the big money things in your company, obviously. But replacing yourself in a lot of the day-to-day business, hiring that person is going to take some time. And I don't mean months. I mean going on years, to really get someone. And they preferably have skin in the game because then they're serious about it too. So that's what, if you really want to place yourself, that's
That never changes. So Jill and I own a bunch of companies, and like the payroll process, the financial process, the tax process is all centralized. And the vast majority of what I just said falls under me. And so the companies themselves have not gotten big enough where we haven't replaced ourselves entirely in our own company. And I'm not sure I really want to.
Well, I'm keeping the fun stuff for me.
Yeah.
It's
Good.
funny.
You should.
I was just traveling. Last week took our cameraman, and we flew for the day to Arizona and looked at properties. Well, in the middle of the day, I'm looking at deals. I'm reviewing some deals for Deal Fund. He's like, I didn't really realize it was really kind of nice. He goes, I didn't realize how much you really do. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, they think we do nothing. The kids do too.
I know. And then I'm reviewing these deals, and he's like, I didn't know that you're making these decisions and things. I'm like, who do you think's doing it? Kind of thing. It was really.
Because it's certainly not Steve.
It was really. It was funny and
Staff thinks we do nothing.
But
they think we just plug all this stuff in, and record and have fun and laugh.
It was funny, but for the deal funding part of it, I mean, I do that because I choose to do that because I love to do that. And that was my conversation with him. I told him, I said, oh, I'm a deal junkie all day long. I love it. Are you kidding me? I love looking at deals, saying yes, no, move on, whatever. That's like my favorite part. Now, the follow-up, going back and telling the seller or telling the buyer or whatever it is and doing the paperwork, I hate that part. That's not my fun. That's not my thing. And that's why I replaced myself with those tasks. But the fun part, we're doing that deal. And now I'm out.
So the title says replacing yourself in your land company.
Yep.
It's personal preference. There are some people who are just maybe, you see it's usually the older people in our group who've just had it, and maybe they work for somebody else for a long time, or maybe they own like a couple of convenience stores or something. They've had it. So they just want to sit in an office somewhere, do a bunch of deals like Jill said, handle all the details themselves, make a couple $100,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year.
And sit back.
There's no real rush.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah. Maybe they're never going to replace themselves. Maybe.
It's true.
They get tired of doing their own deeds or something like that. So they bring in an assistant. Sometimes I see older people in our group, they bring in their children, their adult children, to teach them the business and kind of do all the paperwork and stuff like that. But you don't have to replace yourself. But like Jill said, we're at a point now, what you should be striving for on a daily basis is to do the stuff you're good at.
Right.
You don't want to bog yourself down and do the stuff that you don't like, because eventually you're just going to quit.
Right.
Nobody wants to quit a profitable, easy business that takes 3 hours a day.
Exactly. Ding, ding.
Well, you've done it again. You spent another 15 minutes or so listening to the Land Academy Show. Join us next time for an episode called 5 Levels of Land Academy Progress.
And we answer your questions posted on our online community at landinvestors.com. It's free.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition. So tell us more about Scottsdale. Because I haven't really talked to you about this either. How did it go?
It was great. Oh, I had so much fun. So it was really good looking at, it was looking at some properties that I'd never seen before that we had already bought and already sold for House Academy. And it was looking at some deals that we passed on. And I'll tell you, I stood there in front of them going, boy, I feel good about the decisions. Like the solar panel house, seriously, I got to tell you, I stood there and I felt good. And I met with a really top-notch investor that we work with very closely, done several deals with, and I kind of interviewed her. So we're going to use that for House Academy too. Maybe even some other things, I don't know, but it was really good talking to her.
House Academy is a program that Jill and I are going to roll out. It's got, just like Land Academy, it's got all the stuff that the investor forum and all of it. But the education itself is based on a real-life example mailer that we did in Mesa, Arizona, late last year. And, results came out exactly like they always came out. We sent out about 9,000 letters. I think we purchased 4 or 5 properties.
Mesa, or just, we're going to do Scottsdale too, because Scottsdale's in there.
Right.
Okay, cool.
And passed on, several properties which she just visited. So we walk you through every single process, the actual mailer itself. That's one of the top questions I get. Can you guys just walk us through the perfect? And so that's what House Academy really is.
Yep.
I'm having a blast recording it. Sounds like you are too.
Yep. It's great. Hey, wherever you are watching or wherever you are listening, please subscribe and please rate us there.
We are Steve and Jill. Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.